Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 66 to 70 of chapter 2. Nasti buddhirayuktasya,
Nasti buddhirayuktasya,
nachayuktasya bhavana,
nachayuktasya bhavana,
nacha bhavayata shantihi,
nacha bhavayata shantihi,
ashantasya kutah sukham,
ashantasya kutah sukham,
indriyanam hi charatam,
indriyanam hi charatam,
yanmano vidhiyate,
yanmano vidhiyate,
tadasya harati prajñam,
tadasya harati prajñam,
vayurnavamivambhasi,
vayurnavamivambhasi,
tasmadhyasya mahabaho,
tasmadhyasya mahabaho,
nigrihitani sarvashah,
nigrihitani sarvashah,
indriyanindriyarthebhyah,
indriyanindriyarthebhyah,
tasya prajña pratisthita,
tasya prajña pratisthita,
ya nisha sarvabhutanam,
ya nisha sarvabhutanam,
tasyam jagarti sanyami,
tasyam jagarti sanyami,
yasyam jagrati bhutani,
yasyam jagrati bhutani,
sa nisha pashyato muneः,
sa nisha pashyato muneः,
आपूर्यमाणमचल pratishtham
Apuryamanamatala pratishtham
samudramapah pravishanti yadvat
Samudramapah pravishanti yadvat
tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve
Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve
sashanti mapnoti na kamakami.
Sashanti mapnoti na kamakami.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So last week we were seeing Bhavana. What is the power of Bhavana in your life? As the great Siddhas, they say, Yatha bhavaha tatha asi. You are what your bhav is, bhavana. Both have the same roots. So bhavana is generally translated as attitude, mood. Very difficult to capture that word, capture the essence of that word bhavana with one word from English. So generally speaking, it's your attitude. As a great thinker said, in life, your attitude measures your altitude. It's a beautiful statement if you think about it. How high will you go in your life? What does it depend on? Altitude means your growth, whether it's a material field or spiritual field, it's all one and the same. The principles of success are one and the same. So how high will you go in life? What is the key factor? He says attitude. Your attitude measures your altitude. Remember that. Even in a relationship, how sincere are you? What is your attitude when you are relating with that person? That genuinely matters. Even when you're doing a particular business. Now, a person who genuinely thinks about the customers and he strives to take care of the needs of the customers with a true identification. Such a person will be very successful in business. If a businessman tries to fool the customers, in the long run, that person will not be successful. You take the examples of big business empires, those who have been successful on a consistent basis, on a long-term basis. You will find that their core values will be very strong. It is not about merely making money in the short run, but they always think in terms of how can I add value to my customer. See, this whole thing can be done just for profit, or this thing can be done in a genuine way. One who does merely for profit, at some point of time, he will compromise. Because when your eye is only on profit, then when something else gives you more profit, but the quality is less, you may still take it. Chances are there. But if the core value of a business entity, which means the people who are running it, the core values are in terms of how do we add value to the customers, how do we make the customers' lives better. And through that, if they are getting their profits also, such a business will stand the test of time. So whether it is business or whether it is a personal relationship, whether it is your work, an employee who puts his heart and soul into the work which he or she is doing, who genuinely works for the sake of the company, will grow in that company. So yatha bhavaha tatha asi. Whatever your attitude is, that is what you are. And whatever your attitude is, that measures how high your altitude, means that will determine how high you will go in life. It is the same principle which is applicable for spiritual growth also. When it comes to God, your actions per se mean nothing. When it comes to your master also, when you go to your guru, again per se your actions mean nothing. It is the bhav, the attitude with which you approach. You know, in one of the later chapters, Krishna says, whatever a devotee offers me, whether it is a leaf, whether it is a flower, whatever it is, I accept it. Means whatever anyone offers with the true bhav, I will accept it. You know, there are some people who make such a show of their spirituality or devotion. That is a rajas. You want to show to everybody that you are a devotee of God. A person who silently does a sadhana without any show, without any ambitions, without any motives of wanting to become famous and all that, such a person will grow spiritually. You know, sometimes it is very amusing when a big function happens in a temple. They give the first respect to a particular person, let us say. Yeah, that's the tradition is there. Now, I know people fighting for that. I should only be given the first respect. Last year you gave this person, now this year you have to give me. Now it is because they have contributed, more money in terms of donations. Isn't that so foolish? Because the very idea of a temple is to feel the glory of God, glory of the infinite. Now instead of that, if the focus is shifting to individual people, they might as well close the temple and give them the importance. So such a person, he feels I am closer to God. So you pay an X amount of money and therefore you are getting closer proximity to that idol for a longer period of time. You feel so good, yes, I am closer to God. No way. It all depends upon what your attitude is. You mean to say God is partial, where if you offer more money, He is going to favor you, and for one who does not offer any money, He will not favor? There is nothing like that. So remember this principle. Yatha bhavaha tatasi. Whatever your bhavana is, that is what you are. And your bhavana is going to determine how high you will rise in life. You take any successful person, in that field, he or she would have had the right attitude. In other areas, they may be lacking bhavana. That is a different matter. Because what some people do is they take successful people and then they say this person has this fault, that fault. Yes, nobody is without faults. I'm saying in that field, they would have had the right bhavana. And that is why they would have been successful in that field. They would have put their heart and soul in whatever activities they would have done. So in general, how do you build the right attitude? That is what I was covering last week. One of the dimensions of bhavana is feeling. So 3 aspects. Number 1, feeling. Number 2, devotion. And number 3, faith. So feeling means emotion. Without emotions, you become a dry person. You know, the general concept of a spiritual person, of a yogi, is that he or she should not have emotions. Because when you read the scriptures superficially, they say, go beyond joy and sorrow. So immediately you think all the emotions should be dried up. No, that is not true. A spiritual person is one who has intense feelings, intense emotions. See, expansion of emotion is what they are talking about. A non-spiritual person will also have emotions. But those emotions will be only pertaining to himself or herself. A spiritual person will start expanding the emotions, will start expanding his or her love, and he will make it universal. If you are devoid of emotions and feelings, then you are not having any bhavana. And out of all the emotions, bhavana also refers to the best of those emotions, which is devotion. Devotion is nothing but love. Love without any expectations. Whenever it is towards the world, we use the word love. When it is towards God, we use the word devotion. But it's one and the same emotion. It comes out of a basic gratitude. You may ask me, what should I feel grateful about? If you just look at your life, there are millions and millions of things which you are enjoying right now. The fact that you are able to watch this itself means millions of processes are happening within your body just to register this sight. The fact that you are hearing this right now, whatever is being told, and you are registering it, how are you able to hear and register? Millions of processes are happening within your body for you to hear and register. Like this, you take every action of yours. So much is happening. The fact that we are breathing, isn't that a miracle? So millions of processes are happening within us. Millions of processes are happening outside us, supporting our very existence. So the fact that you are existing itself is a reason why you should be grateful. Why do you need some special reason for you to be grateful? A yogi is one who is eternally grateful to that infinite. Why? Because of this. Our very existence itself is a proof. How much are we enjoying? How much are we experiencing? So many things which are not under our control. So the moment you start seeing that, immediately you will bow down in utter humility. That is devotion. And then faith. Faith, as I told you last week, faith is what sustains any effort. See, till you get a result, you don't know whether you will get that result or not. What is a guarantee? Okay, you sow a seed. Now we say the seed will become a tree. But nobody can give 100% guarantee. Even when we go to sleep in the night, what is the guarantee we'll wake up? See, when you go off to sleep, you get cut off from everything, right? And then you wake up in the morning. Now, what is the guarantee that you will wake up? It is a faith, which we have, that we will wake up. So, if you notice that faith is ingrained within us right from birth. A small baby, is cuddled in his or her mother's arms, mother's chest, and is happily sleeping. So much of commotion may be going around, but the baby is so happily sleeping. How? Because it has so much of faith on its mother. So that shows that faith is ingrained in us right from birth. It is not something which you need to acquire, it is already there within you. Every action you undertaken by you is with the faith that this action will be successful. If you know for sure that a particular action will not be successful, you will not do it. All your planning, your scheming is because there is a faith that you will live tomorrow. If you take away faith, you cannot function in life. That is why this Bhavana, faith, is so important. So when you apply these three aspects to your life, you should apply it to all your activities. Everything which you take up, do it with a lot of feeling. That capacity you have. Don't do something in a casual way or a dry way. See, somebody has asked a question, how do I bring the feeling in my activities? Now, there is no particular technique or method for that. If you take up a field of activity which is according to your Swadharma, Swadharma means your nature, you will automatically have a lot of passion for that. If you are feeling very dry with respect to some activity, it means that is not your cup of tea, that is not your Swadharma. Another reason for not having that emotion is it may be your field of activity, but you may be a tamasic person. So you want quick results, you want shortcuts, so you are unwilling to put in effort. Therefore, you may not have the feeling, especially when it is an action which will fetch long-term results. You may not get that emotion. So you will have to overcome that tamas. So first thing is, with respect to all the activities which you are doing, do it with full feeling. See, either don't do something, or if at all you do it properly. You know, Sachin Tendulkar, in the last test match which he played, that is, he had already announced that he was going to retire from after that test match was over. Even on the day before, that is on the day of the test match, the morning, I believe he came for his net practice as usual. If you really think about it, was it necessary? No. If he had not come for net practice, nobody would have said anything. Neither the coach nor the management would have said anything, because he was going to retire. But he still came and practiced as if it was his first match. That is the passion which you should have. Any achiever will have a lot of passion and emotion in the actions which he or she is doing. So this is the first thing which you need to bring. I am giving you the practical ways by which you can apply this principle of bhavana in your life. The second thing is, remember, work is worship. Devotion means anything which you take up. It is not enough if you merely have passion, but you should consider your activity as a worship to the infinite, as an offering to God. It is God who has given you those responsibilities. It is God who has given you the capacity to act. So with utmost reverence and devotion to that infinite, you should consider any work given to you as a very sacred work. When you go to a master, he gives you this wisdom with so much of devotion and sanctity. So you should also pick it up and practice these principles with a lot of devotion. When you take up some assignment, do it with full devotion. Work is worship. When every activity of yours becomes an offering to God, that is real spirituality. Throughout the day, you are doing what we call as prayer. Prayer is not setting aside a separate time and thinking of the infinite. That is also important. But real prayer, in its expansive nature, is nothing but considering every action, whether you're eating, whether you're sleeping, whether you're doing your work in office, whatever it is, you're taking care of your family. Every little thing, you take it as an offering to God. This is something which you can practice. And then faith. Always have a tremendous faith in your abilities. So faith can come about only when you start fulfilling your goals. So start fixing goals in life. And let your goals be practical. If your goals are impractical, then you will meet with failure and you will lose all your faith. So faith means faith in oneself and faith in that infinite. Actually, both mean one and the same from a higher level, because you are only the infinite. But initially, when you have not yet merged with the infinite, you are this limited self. But even this limited self, as a limited self, you have amazing powers, you have a lot of capacity. So have faith, that self-belief. And as you grow in spirituality, you will automatically develop faith in that infinite also. So this is the first dimension of Bhavana. The second dimension of Bhavana is, Bhavana means thought, thinking. Now, if you remember, we started off today, even last week also, when I gave a general idea of what Bhavana is. I was saying attitude. Now, how do we say attitude? See, attitude is nothing but a combination of your thought and your emotions only. So, in any activity, what is your emotion, what is your thought backing it? So, thought plus emotion actually gives rise to two things. One is your attitude, other is your intention. In every activity, your intention should be pure. The more pure your intention is, your motive is, the more spiritual, the more spiritually evolved you will become. See, right now, Yogishri is giving this discourse. You will say, oh, what a wonderful activity. He is explaining the yogic approach of the Bhagavad Gita, of the scriptures. He is giving the message of the great yogis and all that. If his bhavana, that is, if his intention is impure, then for him that action will become impure. But if the same action is done with the bhavana of unconditional love, of wanting to share these great principles and transform others' lives, then it becomes spiritual. So in every action, the second thing which you need to do, apart from the feeling, devotion, faith, that was the first dimension. Second is thought. And we are not taking thought here separately. We are seeing thought along with the emotion. So that determines your intention, your motive. So in every action, always check your intention. Is my intention pure in this? If yes, I will do it. If not, I will put in efforts to purify my intentions. You know, many a times you will say something, and then what happens is the other person does not react positively to you. Invariably you complain and say that the other person is negative. But you will have to check your bhavana, your intention. No doubt it is possible that the other person may have certain negative tendencies due to which he or she may be reacting that way. But this is also possible. There is a 50-50 chance where your intention may be impure. And that person is not reacting to your words, but that person may be reacting to your intentions. Sometimes you feel, a person is very sweet to you. He smiles and he's very, very nice, but you feel uncomfortable. You don't get, in a layman's language they say, good vibes. Vibes they say. You don't get the good positive vibes from someone. But externally the manners and all that he follows. Why? Because his intention is not pure. So anything you take up, ensure that your intention is pure. Attitude I've already covered. So the thought plus emotion makes bhavana a powerful tool for you to function in your life. If you have only feelings, then that can go out of control. That is why in this dimension of bhavana is so important, that of thinking. But if you have only thinking, your reasoning, your analysis will all be used for negative purposes. So that is the second dimension of bhavana. Now, what is interesting is, just as we saw during when we were studying the yukta, in bhavana also, all these facets actually keep manifesting together only. So you pick up one thing and start practicing, then you will get the ability to practice the other aspects, and quickly you can practice everything together. The third dimension of bhavana. Bhavana means meditation. See, bhavana means three things actually in this. Again, bhavana means observing, number one. Bhavana means meditation. It also means remembering. So, developing bhavana, good bhavana, means you need to learn to become observative in life. You need to start observing things objectively. See, when you're tamasic, when your awareness is not there, your observation capacity will be very less. Whether you are interacting with people or any activity you're doing, a person who is a keen observer will learn a lot and will also be able to act in the right way in a particular situation. See, supposing you're talking to someone. I'm giving an example. Supposing you're talking to someone. Usually what happens is you don't observe the reactions of the other person. You just go on talking and you offload whatever is there in your mind. Then that communication will not be effective. Observation is very, very important. First, you need to learn to observe things outside. Then you will start observing things within you. See, straight away it is very difficult to observe things within you because that is more subtle. But when you develop this observation capacity, you start observing what is happening within you. That is the starting point of meditation. That is why meditation follows observation. How did any development take place? When they saw the effect, they started determining what could be the cause for that. Science itself developed only through observation. If you don't have this capacity to observe, you will be leading a mechanical life. It's not only talking. Any activity you do, it will become very mechanical. See, for example, you're working in an office, somebody has sent a mail that any amount of effort he puts in, his management is not appreciating. So he has asked for a solution. It's a good question. Now, any amount of effort you're putting, but the management is not appreciating. What does it mean? It means the efforts which you're putting are not in line with the management's expectations. The management is expecting something and you are doing something else. You will have to find out that. It is only when you observe you can find this out. If you're not observing at all, you will be no doubt working very hard. But is that what the other person is wanting? Sometime means I'm saying a few years back, a couple had come to me for advice, and they were having complaints against each other. The wife was saying the husband was not spending time with her. The husband was having some other complaint. Now, in this context, I'm giving the example of the complaint which the wife was making. She was telling that my husband is not spending time with me. Now, the husband was giving a list to me saying that, see, even last week, I spent so many hours with her. I took her to a movie, did this, did that. So many things he was giving. I bought her a diamond necklace for her birthday, but she is not happy. Then I asked her, why aren't you happy with the diamond necklace? She said, that is not something which I want. Then what is it that you want? See, it's not that I'm against the diamond necklace also, but what I really want is, see, how he gave the diamond necklace, do you know, sir? She was telling me, he didn't have time to even come and wish her. So he just wrote on a piece of paper and kept the diamond necklace on the table and he went away. She says there was no emotion behind it. It was more of a routine, In that conversation, as she was saying something and he was also saying, he began to understand that no doubt he was putting an effort, but it was all in the wrong direction because he never observed and found out what is it that she truly wants. This is what happens in life. We generally never find out what the other person wants. We go on acting in a unilateral way and then we complain that the other person is not responding. So as a sadhak, I request you to do this sadhana, take it up very seriously and do this. In your relationships, in your family, find out what your other family members want. Usually 90% of what they want will be reasonable only. 10% may be unreasonable. Now that 10% you don't need to bother about. But this 90%, if you fulfill, you will find that the relationships, your relationships with them will really flower. Practice it and see. That is what is meant by the sadhana of Bhavana, this particular dimension. And the more you start observing, your faculties will become alert. Now that that capacity to observe, now when you direct it inside, it will become meditation. Meditation is nothing but an impassive, keen observation of yourself. What is happening within you? Without that observation, without that awareness, there is no meditation. So that is why observing, number one, and number two, meditation. So the more meditative you become, the more you are able to observe yourself, the more powerful you will become, because you are the tool when you are functioning in life. When I say you are the tool, I mean the physical body, the mind, the intellect. So when you observe something keenly, you begin to understand that better. See, when you observe a person, you can understand that person better. Similarly, when you observe your own mind, you will be able to understand your mind, your thoughts much better. So when you have a comprehensive, deeper, experiential understanding of your own mind, the way you function in life will become very, very powerful and productive. See, when you understand your computer better, what your computer can offer, you can use the computer in a better way. Supposing a person does not know anything about the computer and you present him with a PC and he doesn't know how to use it. Maximum he is using it for calculating all the groceries and all that which they are buying every month. He is putting a calculation and he says, I am using the computer. To which you will tell him, you don't understand what you're having. First, it can offer you so much. So when he keenly observes and understands that, then he'll be able to use it to its full effect. It's the same thing with your body, it's the same thing with your mind and intellect. When you keenly start observing yourself, your faculties will improve. You will be able to use your own mind more effectively. Your mind powers will increase. So, Bhavana actually gives you so much of strength. And then the other aspect I told you is remembering. Bhavana means remembering. Remembering means what? Here he is talking of the capacity to consciously remember whenever you want to remember something. So if you have a keen observation capacity, only then you will be able to remember whatever is relevant to you. See, today you remember things which are not required for you. Usually all the negative things you remember. A person may have done 99 positive things. He may have wished you every day. Every day you're meeting a person, he says, good morning, and he wishes you so nicely. One day he forgets to wish you. Now you will remember that one day only. That man, I wished him and he never wished me back. You will even remember the date and say, on this date, this time, he insulted me like that. He didn't wish me. But 99 other days he wished you. Why can't you remember all that? No, because it is not a conscious process. So consciously, first you develop the observation capacity. Once you start observing, you will get this power to consciously choose. See, this is very important. You should consciously choose and pick up the positives and remember that in your life. This is what Lord Buddha also said. All the great masters said that. Buddha even gave out a particular meditation method based on this. Remembering the positive things which have happened in your life. If I were to ask you what are all the negative things which have happened in your life, you will immediately give a big list. If I were to ask you what are the positive things which have happened in your life, you will start thinking. So today, the capacity to remember is not under your control. So developing the bhavana means this dimension. You should exercise your choice to remember those things which you want to remember. It is a very powerful dimension, because whenever you remember what you want to remember and you gain this ability to forget what you want to forget, what you want to erase from your mind, then you become so powerful. You become, first of all, you become very peaceful. It comes through practice only. As I said, when the observation capacity is not there, anything which is there will go into your mind. When the keen observation is not there. See, constantly The inputs from the world are entering your deeper mind. Now, the problem is, consciously, if you are tamasic, at the conscious level when you are tamasic, whatever inputs are going in your mind is not being processed by you. So you will not know what is going within. Mostly your mind will be picking up a lot of negative inputs. But the moment you become very alert, a keen observer, then you will observe this is negative, this is positive. In the sense, this is harmful to me, this is good for me. So you will start consciously picking up the good things. Now that will become stored, that will get stored in your memory bank. And whenever you want, you will be able to recall that. You know, a great saint, he used to tell his disciples, whenever somebody does something good to you, don't forget it for your entire life. Always be grateful to that person. Whenever somebody does something harmful to you, kshana means that moment. Forget it at that moment itself. He used to keep saying this. So one day, one disciple asked him, "Sir, how is that possible? Is this under my control at all? You're saying someone does something wrong to me. I should forget it this second." Actually, that disciple asked him, what he mentioned to him was, it is just the reverse. When someone does something wrong to me, I am never able to forget it. Good things I am able to easily forget. The day that disciple asked that question, that is when the true sadhana started for the disciple. Then the master explained, he said, as a human being, you have this choice of action. But unfortunately, you are not exercising this choice in the right direction. Therefore, you have gotten into that state. Your mind is not under your control today. So now start exercising it. Whenever someone does something good to you, now consciously bring that gratitude. The more feeling you add to it, the more you will register it. And whenever someone does something wrong to you, do the sadhana and release it. During your daily sadhana, release those impressions. So the more successful you are in doing that, your bhavana will become very, very strong. So observation, meditation and remembering. That is another dimension, a powerful dimension of bhavana. You know, when these great saints say, you should always be meditative, many people get confused. How can I always be in meditation? Because you think meditation means closing your eyes and always sitting. That is also meditation. But when your eyes are open, we can call it open-eyed meditation. You should do everything in a meditative way. How can you do anything in a meditative way? The clue is the clues in that meaning observation. Start becoming very alert and keen in whatever you're doing. In Buddhism, they call it mindfulness. See, true meditation is mindlessness actually. You go beyond the mind. But in order to go beyond the mind, first you need to use your mind fully, effectively. So you can practice this and see the results, see the effects, So number one, feeling. The best kind of feeling is devotion and faith in oneself and the infinite. Number two, combine that with thought, your thinking, your attitude and your intention. Intention should be very pure. And number 3, observation, meditation and remembering. Become a keen observer of things. Impassive observation. Objective observation. You have to be a little careful while you're practicing that, this dimension of bhavana. When you observe the negatives and positives, you have to be careful not to get involved with the negative. That is why I am using the word impassive observation. So from where will you start that? First start observing others as you are talking to them, as you are interacting with them. You can practice this first in areas which are not so negative. See, do you understand your wife or your husband fully? No. Do you understand your children fully? No, because you've never observed them. So you can start there. Similarly, you can start observing your own simple actions. When you're eating, just observe yourself as you're eating. When you're brushing your teeth, when you're having a bath, just do it with full keenness and observation. There is no danger of, something being negative. Actually, Buddha gave this as a practice. He said every day for about 1 hour or so, he used to ask his disciples to take up some activity, simple activity, and do it with full observation in a slow way. That activity could be gardening or cleaning the room or making tea, whatever it is, Some activity you pick up as a practice. He used to say, do it in a very meditative way. Now you don't need to pick up some new activity for that. You pick up some normal activities which you're already doing. As I said, brushing your teeth, having a bath, eating. In these kinds of activities, start practicing this. Just try it and see. You will find a world of a difference, because through that activity, actually you are developing your personality. Spirituality is very, very practical. Without this practice, it is all just mere theory, mere words. So that is a very powerful dimension: observation, meditation and remembering. So when you start observing and doing your activities, you will find that your choice, your ability to exercise your choice of action actually becomes more. So using that choice, you can consciously start remembering all the positive things in your life. Every day before you go to sleep, just ask yourself, what are the positive things which happened to me today? Initially, you will feel nothing positive happened to me today. One man actually told me this. He said, when I tried to do that sadhana, sir, because in one of the earlier discourses I had mentioned that, I had tried to think of something positive which has happened to you in your life and be grateful before you go to sleep, Before you go to sleep also, you should practice gratitude. In the morning, as soon as you wake up also, you should practice gratitude. So a man tried that and he said, nothing, no positive thing happened. I asked him, you mean to say you didn't have your lunch, breakfast or dinner today? He said, of course I had. Then that is something positive which has happened, because so many people are starving. You at least had your 3 meals today. He was shocked. Like that, if you see, there are so many positive things happening. But we fail to notice that. Why? No observation. So when you start observing, that capacity to notice the positive, capacity to notice will increase. Now use that capacity and choose to notice all the positives and register that. This is another powerful practice. And the more you do that, you will be increasing your positive energy within you. What happens today is, when you don't exercise this choice, when you're all alone by yourself, especially before you go to sleep, all the negative things which have happened during that day and then even the previous days, all those negative things start coming to your mind. Just observe a little bit and see. You will understand what I'm saying. Whenever you get some spare time, your mind is immediately flooded with some negative thing which has happened to you. So, practice this sadhana. If you want to build a powerful bhavana, you need to practice this. So, whenever you have spare time, you can practice all these things. And in all the small activities, when you keep practicing to build your bhavana, then when a real challenge comes in life, there also you will never lose your objectivity. You will never lose your meditativeness. As a sadhak, you need to do two types of meditation. One is closed-eyed meditation every day, which is what you're all practicing, the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. The other form of meditation is when your eyes are open, you should practice open-eyed meditation, and this is the way to do it. This is the first step. Now, as you master that, then the higher practices can be taken up. That is, when you are performing some action, keeping one aspect of your mind pegged on to the infinite and then acting here. You cannot straightaway do it. When you're not even a keen observer here, when you're not fully alert here, you will not be able to practice that higher sadhana. So, practice this first. Now, the other dimensions, or there are two more dimensions of bhavana, which also I will mention today, and then next week also I'll again cover some subtler points about them. The other meaning of bhavana, it's a very strange meaning, but if you understand it correctly, it makes so much of sense. That is, the meaning of bhavana is, if you take a dry powder, saturating dry powder with fluid, with some liquid. When something is dry like a powder, if you saturate it with liquid, that is in a state of bhavana, that is called bhavana. Now you may wonder, what has that got to do with our sadhana? It's a very powerful dimension. See, it is figurative. In spirituality, we should always see the inner meaning. So, bhavana means having that spark in life. See, dry powder is a state of dryness. But when you add liquid, it becomes alive. So, bhavana means getting that spark in life. You should always have that spark, that zest in life. It should not be a dry life. What do I mean by zest? The best way of understanding this dimension of bhavana is just go and observe a newborn baby. Newborn baby, most of the time a newborn baby will be sleeping. So just leave it for about a month or two, or maximum 3 months, and then observe a baby. You don't require any other book to understand this dimension of Bhavana. Just observe a baby. How much of zest the baby has. You see the eyes of a baby. It will be so bright, full of life, full of that spark that is coming from within. So anything you give to the baby gets so excited, it's so happy. Just you switch on the fan, you place the baby under the fan and you switch on the fan, the ceiling fan, and you put it in one so that the baby can feel the rotation of the blades. As the fan starts rotating, the baby will start observing that fan, keenly it will observe and it will feel so excited. It is all a play for it, it will start laughing. You give a doll to a baby and you, let us say you have, there's a battery and you can make the doll move and talk also. The baby will become so excited because the baby thinks the doll is talking to it only. Every little thing the baby is so happy with. How does a baby have that capacity? You also had that capacity as a baby. Now you have lost it. From where is this zest? From where is this spark coming? It is coming from within. So understand that your very birth is a miracle, is something which is so wonderful which has happened. Your very life is very wonderful. So right from day one till the last day, you should never lose that spark in your life. The day you lose the spark, even when you are living, you are dead only. Take the extreme example. When a person goes through depression, that person loses all the spark, the zest. You see such a person's eyes, it will be sagging like this. No life. You see a yogi and a baby will look so similar. They will have the same spark in their eyes. They will have the same twinkle in their eyes, I remember when I had been to the Himalaya, I'm talking of almost, this must be 15 or 20 years back, more than 20 years back. When I had been to the Himalayas, I met a great yogi who had a reputation in that place. He was a great Siddha, But what was interesting is, he was actually laughing to himself, as if somebody had cracked a joke or as if he was watching some movie, a comedy movie. And then he looked at me and he pointed out at something and he was laughing. And that was an ant was moving there and he was playing with that ant, the black ant. So what he was doing was he was taking those small stones and he was placing that stone in front of the ant, and the ant was trying to find its way, That was so funny for him. And then when the ant used to win and go there, then he used to clap and he had some sugar with him. Obviously some people would have given him. So immediately he used to take and give that ant some sugar. It was a big entertainment for him. That child-like, that baby-like innocence which he exuded. Any amount of knowledge you gain from the scriptures and all that cannot give you that purity. It has to come from within. Actually, the hallmark of spirituality is that spark which you have in life, that innocence which you have in life. So how do you develop that? I'll give you a sadhana tip. This will be very useful to you. You know, I told you one thing is take up these small things in life and start observing. Now you can observe it, when I say impassive observation, you may observe it in a dry way. No. Now enjoy those small things as you are doing them. Like how this yogi was enjoying something which you would call as meaningless. That way, anything in life is meaningless only. And if anything in life has a spiritual meaning, it is all in your perception. For a yogi, every little thing which is happening is an expression of divinity. So whether he sees a sunrise or a sunset, or whether he goes to the Himalayas, or whether he is just sitting in his room and looking out of the window and seeing the trees swaying, or whether someone comes and talks to him and he is observing that person, everything is an expression of divinity only. So if you want to find meaning, you can find meaning in anything. But if you don't have that perception, even if you go to the Himalayas, you will be stressed only. I know many people who go to Himalayas, come back and they complain. There was one man who went, he was so excited, I'm going to the Himalayas, I'm going to the Himalayas. And he went there for 10 days. He cut short his trip by a few days and he came back. I asked him why. No way, I don't get proper food there. Too many mosquitoes. So he was complaining. So you can practice this. The small things, so-called inconsequential things of your life, like brushing your teeth, the small activities. It could be even drinking drinking water. Take up all those activities and start enjoying them thoroughly. When you learn to enjoy simple things in life, your entire life becomes so wonderful. You don't need special things in life in order to get the spark. Learn from a baby. Learn from a yogi. How is it that you put a yogi anywhere, he is very happy? Because that happiness is coming from within. When you go on practicing this with simple things, a time would come where even if another person insults you, within yourself, you will be enjoying that. How wonderfully this person is insulting. You may think I'm joking, but I'm factually saying that. When a person, sometimes the way a person insults, he has a talent for that. They are very sharp and they can insult very well, That is also a talent only. I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, Yogishri, I will take you to one person, then you will change your philosophy. This is what you're thinking. I'm talking about an advanced level. You straight away can't practice that there. That's why I'm asking you to practice it with small things. But it is possible. You can train your mind to such an extent where even the greatest of challenges can be thrown to you, but you still maintain your childlike innocence and purity. Okay? So, I've given you a lot of points today. Ponder over them and absorb the energy behind them. I can feel that many of you are so inspired. So whatever inspires you, start practicing them. So now we'll do the meditation. There have been many people have asked some questions about Yoga Sankirtan empowerment. After the meditation, before we finish, I will just answer them and then we will close for today. Okay? So sit in a relaxed way and gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I choose to have a powerful bhavana in everything which I do. From this moment onwards, I choose to do everything with a lot of feeling, devotion, and faith. I choose to have a pure intention. I have the inner spark, the baby-like innocence. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had a very inspiring session. The more we read this, we hear this, the more we talk about this, the more inspiration it provides. That is the power of Bhavana, Just by talking about Bhavana, just by hearing about Bhavana, that itself gives so much of inspiration. And when you write down your points, when you think about it, when you write down, it will give you so much of joy. Then imagine when you actually practice it, how much more joy and happiness it will give you. So ultimately, it all depends on you only. So before we end, just a couple of questions I'll take up pertaining to the Yoga Sankirtan event. The first question has been asked by Neha. Hari Om Yogishri. My question is, with Yoga Sankirtan Preparatory Meditation, which is done by us as a part of preparation for the upcoming Yoga Sankirtan course, do we need to follow the weekly schedule for Yoga Sankirtan CDs and Kaya Tattva CDs? Thank you, Yogishri. Yes, those who attended the 22-day program, I've given you 10 special meditations to become subtle and energize yourself and to cause self-healing. And I've given you a certain way of following that you continue to do. So here, even people who have not attended the course are watching this. So I'm talking only about Yoga Sankirtan. But those of you who have attended other things, and I've given you specific schedules to be followed, you can continue with that. As I mentioned last week itself, the energy is the same, the application is only different. So you can continue with that. The other question is, Pranams Yogishri, I would like to register my husband for the 5-day program. I am regularly attending all the programs conducted by you, but he is not showing any interest in these programs. Can I still register him even though I am not sure whether he will attend the program? He is very active, kind, philanthropist, man, but has temper issues, financial and deep-rooted emotional issues. And I sincerely want him to get healed and live peacefully. Will he still receive the healing if I register for him, even though he most probably won't attend? Kindly let me know. With humble pranams. I'm not mentioning the name. First and foremost, I want you and even all others to notice the Bhavana. It's very, very nice when she has said, I sincerely want him to get healed. Just today I was mentioning about that pure intention, If your intention is pure, it will reach him. One day it will reach him. That much I can assure you. The only thing is your conditioning. You are saying that most probably he will not attend. Why are you assuming that? Just because he didn't attend in the past doesn't mean he will not attend. So the moment you conclude like that, you are creating a reality. See, you are the creator of your life. Remember that. So focus on what you want. You want him to get healed. So bring that bhavana. And you're saying that he is a very nice person, he is a philanthropist and all that, which is very good. So actually, he must be practicing some of these principles even though he doesn't know. So it is just that he may not have been exposed to the right kind of spirituality, and so he may not be showing interest, that's all. So don't push it on anyone. This is an answer for even others. Some others who also asked regarding how to spread it to children and all that. Don't push it, but just provide an opportunity. Probably you can just casually send a link and or ask somebody else to send a link if you think that will work well, and leave it at that. Don't go on checking whether the other person is watching or not. See, each one has his or her choice, and when the right time comes, they will choose. So ultimately, your bhavana is so pure, it will reach him. Actually, it happened with it has happened with several people, those who are watching our Sunday discourses. In one case, it was a wife, and the other case, it was a husband. And even with respect to children also, many people have come and told me. So one lady had registered her husband also for, this I'm talking of almost 2-3 years back, for one of the Yoga Sankirtan sessions. And the husband was never interested in these things. So on the day of the program, suddenly he just said, you told me you have registered for me, so I'll just come and see today. But I'm not guaranteeing you that I'll come tomorrow. So she was mature enough, she said, yeah, if you want to, you come. See, the choice has to be given. So, and he came and he got benefited so much. He actually got healed of many issues. And there was another incident also. A husband had registered for his wife, and he never told her because he assumed that she'll not come. So what happened is, but still the healing energy will go, because as the moment a person registers, I told you I start invoking the healing Shakti. And the amazing thing he found is, every time he registered for his wife, even though she didn't attend, there were good behavioral changes in her. Because this healing Shakti was reaching her, her subconscious mind was receiving, without knowing that she was getting healed, she was getting healed. It may have happened, it will happen at a slower pace. Because when a person actively does sadhana naturally, the effect will be much more. But still the effect was there. And one day she started showing interest in this, and she started coming. And then she asked him, why didn't you introduce this to me earlier? He said, no, I used to register your name, but I never told you because I thought you'll not come. She actually fought with him in a fun way. She fought with him, saying that you should have told me, because so many courses I have missed, so many empowerments I have missed. So what all these show is, I'm just giving you these examples to illustrate that when one's bhavana is pure, intentions are pure, it will work. So whether you should actually register for him or not, that you decide. You see the situation, whatever you feel from deep within, you act on it. See, it is not for me to say, when I am not saying whether you should register or not. See, we yogis never want to interfere with anybody's karmas, When I am not even asking anybody to register, even people who are interested, then How will I say whether you should register for somebody else? It all depends on your karmic connection with them and what is your motive. If your motive is very true and you want the other person to benefit, and you feel that yes, by doing this, even if he is receiving healing in a passive way, let him get the benefit, you can do so. So that is the answer to that. And there are several other questions regarding the preparatory meditations. So some people were asking whether they can do for more than 3 times a day. Kindly avoid that. See, that's a particular prescription I'm giving. 3 times a day. It's very, very powerful, from 8.5 minutes or so. But that is to increase your pran shakti and open you up. You would have noticed one thing, that as you are practicing those preparatory meditation, you will be becoming more energetic. The pranic flow, which means the pranic flow has started, And not only that, many of your ailments and situations in life will start getting healed even before you come for the Yoga Sankirtan course. So, but stick to that dosage. 3 times a day means 3 times a day on empty stomach. Okay. And one more thing is, I did mention about the goals, Start writing down your goal. So somebody has asked a question whether I can write more than one goal and come. Yes. But let the goal be very sincere and a positive goal. Never put it in the negative. This is very important, because in these 5 days course, I'm going to, I've allotted a specific time after the meditation where I'll be asking you to visualize your goals. And when you are visualizing, I'm going to invoke the higher Shakti and send, so that those goals start manifesting. So when you're coming for this course, be very, very clear about what you want. So this preparatory meditations which you're doing now, and so that are going that meditation is going to help you expand yourself, and the fixing of goals which I'm asking you to do will make you very, very clear and focused. So these 2 things are the basic things which you should do before you come for the course. All this is so that you will benefit maximum. Okay? So rest we'll see in the coming weeks. Thank you very much. Hari Om.